Hey guys, welcome back to Low Key Living. This is George. Today we're going to talk about some semi-automatic pistol basics. If you're high speed, if you've done a lot of training and you don't need this, it's going to be very, very basic. This probably is not going to be a video that's going to entertain you very much. If you're like a lot of people out there, you have a semi-automatic pistol, you bought one was given you, you inherited one, you want to shoot it, you're not sure what to do with it. We're going to try to cover some of that stuff today and give you a little bit of familiarity. Now, I'm not going to show you the way. I'm going to show you a way, and I'm going to show you the way that I've been teaching for about 25 years. So I'm George the Martian. I just landed on planet Earth, and so I need to learn how to use the semi-automatic gun, semi-automatic pistol. So what I have in front of me is a Glock 19. It's what I prefer to carry. It's what I'm used to. So without anything else, I stumble across this gun. This gun is laying on the deck somewhere. So I'm explaining to somebody what they would do with it. So what you always want to do whenever you pick up a semi-automatic pistol, you always want to typically pick it up in your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, and I'm going to get a master grip on it. And when I say a master grip, I mean this is going to be it down the road when you shoot this thing. This is going to be the grip that you're going to shoot with. So you want to make sure it's a good grip. How do you make sure it's a good grip? And this is also for people that have a gun on their nightstand. They're not carrying it in a holster. So when I pick this thing up, I want to make sure that the beaver tail, this is called the beaver tail, goes into the webbing of my hand and it's real high. If I have it low or I don't have it high enough, then what's going to happen is it can induce a malfunction by the gun being able to move around instead of going straight back, the slide. So I'm going to grab this, and now every gun that I pick up is loaded. I want to see if this is loaded or not. So when I pick up the gun, I'm going to take my gun overhand, not in front of the barrel, and I'm going to push it to the rear. And there's a little button right here called the slide lock, not the slide release. It's going to go up, and there's a little notch here, and it's going to catch it. I'm going to look down through the slide. I'm going to look out the barrel. I see daylight. I look out the bottom here. I see daylight. I'm going to look away. I'm going to look again. Okay, that weapon is now clear. All right. So I know there's nothing in there. No rounds, no projectiles. Everything is good. So I want to load this thing. So to load it, no live rounds in a training environment. I have my Glock magazine and just one training round here for today's purposes. And so what I'm going to do is, again, no holsters, haven't gotten that far in my journey yet. I'm going to pick this up off the ground when I do. So whether it's an AR mag, a pistol mag, a subgun mag, it doesn't make a difference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to feel around until I get the tip of that bullet is on my finger. And I'm going to point straight, just like that, tip of my finger to the bullet. I've got my master grip on the gun. I'm going to insert this here. And then without pinching my finger, I'll clear my finger and I'll slam this home. And then I'm going to push the slide all the way to the rear and I'll let it go like a slingshot. And now I can check to see if I have a round in the chamber by simply going like this. Pull it in close to my body. I can see I have a round in the chamber and I'll let that go back in the battery. And I'm good to go and I'm ready to shoot. All right. Now, what a lot of people will do, and you've probably seen people do, I don't know, I guess there's even some people who teach it, is that the slide lock is used as a slide release. That's not the case. At least that's not what I teach, okay? So when you take this, you can see where that slide, when I push that to the rear, it further compresses that spring. I need that to let that go all the way forward and put that round, force it into the barrel. When I just let that go with my thumb, it doesn't compress it any further. And what can happen is this slide could just go up and be maybe not even like an eighth of an inch out of battery. This one probably won't because the gun's very broken in. But if it just sits right there, if that gun's out of battery, I can't pull the trigger and I'm going to be freaking out because I want to know why my gun is broken. There's no bullets coming out. All right. So again, you've got this gun sitting on the table or in your drawer. You pick it up, master grip, inspect it, look down, Look away, look down, it's clear. You want to load it. Index your fingertip on the tip of the bullet. Put your pinky out so you don't pinch your fat fingers. If you've got fat fingers like I do, put it here. And now what I'm going to do, these cocking serrations on the side, I'm going to push the slide all the way to the rear. I'm going to let it go, and now it has a round in the chamber. All right? Now, the gun's sitting there, or I want to unload it. What I'm going to do, again, master grip. I'm going to do all the work up here in our battle space because we need to be able to keep our eyes on the threats that are downrange. So if I want to unload the gun, what I need to do is I drop it, the magazine. I take the front of the barrel or front of the slide, and I push it back, and I let that round come out. I don't want to catch that round, and I don't want it to hit the ground. So hopefully you're over something. If you have to let it hit the ground, let it hit the ground. Hopefully no hard surfaces. But you don't want to try to contain that ground in there, or you don't want to catch it, because when you start something, well, we'll just show what happens. As soon as I do that and I start trying to play around, I start trying to catch that round. If that round goes wild and I move, now my gun's moving around, it's just not a safe situation. So just let that round go. All right? Retrieve it afterwards. So I look down, I got a clear gun, I look, everything is clear. Perfect, right? Put my round back in here. So that was the loading and the unloading of a semi-automatic pistol. Now I'm just going to cover the two basic types of magazine changes. So you have a hot reload and a hot reload, and we'll say a save reload is the two easiest way for me to describe them. So the hot reload is pretty simple. When your last round fires on your handgun, it doesn't happen all the time, but it should. Lock the slide to the rear. So I shoot my last round, and it didn't eject, but it's locked to the back here. So now what I got to do, and either what you want to do is either you should have two or three magazines at least with your handgun, more is better, or you get a blue magazine, Rings blue gun, and they feel just like a real magazine and they fit in the gun. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that, but when I come in here, I'm going to throw that magazine up. I'm going to do the same thing, let it go forward, and then I'm back in action. So again, I fire the last round. My gun locks to the rear. I retrieve this one, fingertip the bullet. I drop this. When I do, this one comes right up. I pull this, and I'm back to work. Now, that's the combat reload, all right? Means that the gun can be the most awesome gun in the world, but if you don't keep rounds going in and out of it, if you don't keep it fed, it's not going to work very well for you. So when that thing finally goes, you fire your last round, we lock back, we drop it, you index your magazine, pop, and back in. Now, this is not one you're going to use a whole lot, hopefully, because if you're in a gunfight, the only thing a handgun is for is fighting your way to a long gun, shotgun, rifle. But everybody should know how to use this and do this. So you have a full magazine and you fired several rounds. You may or may not be sure how many. My personal experience was after you shoot one or two rounds, like it's hard to count the rounds in actual real life scenario. All right. So what I'm going to do is, this has some rounds in it, but it's not a full magazine. I want a full magazine. I'm at a lull on the fight. I'm behind strong cover, hopefully. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fresh magazine that's full. I'm going to take it just like this, where I normally index it. I'm going to index it. I'm going to put it in here. I call this a lobster claw. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this magazine out. I'm going to put this one in. And now my gun is full again and go right back into the fight. So do it a little bit quicker. This is on the deck right here. And now I got a magazine that's topped off. hope this was helpful to some people. If I misstated anything, please point it out to me. Where we're going to be going to next time is clearing malfunctions. That'll be part 2. This is semi-automatic pistol part 1. We'll go to part 2. And then the idea is mindset, training, and tools. So your mindset is that you're going to take care of yourself and you're going to take care of your family. Nobody's coming to help you. So you want to learn to use your handgun. And when they talk about, largely when people talk about handguns, it's selection, carry, deployment, and use. People put a lot of time into the selection, picking out the perfect pistol and the perfect finish with the perfect round. And then they'll go out to the range and they'll shoot it, typically on a square range, making a nice pile of once fired brass. But where the rubber really meets the road is not the selection and not the use and not the carry, but the deployment, the when and how to deploy the gun. If you're going to take this seriously, what I suggest you do is you pick 1 or 2 guns you want to carry all the time. For me, I carry either a Glock 19 or a J-frame Smith & Wesson revolver. That's the gun I carry when I'm not carrying a 1. Never leave home without it. So if you have that in mind and you really want to start training and you want to get serious about it, you want to start doing force on force, weapons retention, deployment under less than ideal circumstances, you want to invest the money and get a Rings Blue gun. This one you can see is kind of dirty, been dropped, banged around. I've had it for years. And down the road, what we're going to do is we're going to work on weapons retention. And so you're going to want to take a Dremel tool and you're going to want to remove your front sight here, because if you don't, you're going to cut the crap out of you and the guys that you're training with, all right? So just think about getting a blue gun, getting 1 or 2 rounds for your carry gun. You got your carry gun. So here we go. So I can, without downloading my live firearm, I can train all my deployment stuff. Here, this gives me the option of doing a bunch of different stuff. All right. So that's just the blue gun version of the Glock 19. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. Hit that subscribe button and please comment. Otherwise, be blessed.